Hello, everybody, and welcome to From the Mezzanine, the Broadway podcast for the Broadway fans. Here we talk about all things Broadway news, Broadway grosses, and let's be honest, all of the tea and gossip that happens week to week in the Broadway stratosphere. If I have a certain glow about me, if I sound so chipper through your headphones right now, it's because I saw the best musical ever last night, The Outsiders. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can see my legacy playbill right now. I got the one that looks like Pony Boy's journal. And I really like it. I love it. And Bryn has seen the show like 3 times, I think, since the playbills have come out. And so she's been collecting them for me 2 or 3 times. And so she has the other ones for me. So I'm really happy. The one where they're like doing the choreography when they're in the fire and they're on like the beams, standing on the beams. That's my favorite one. But anyways, if you're not familiar with what's going down in the theater district for this month, it is the 140th anniversary, I guess, of Playbill. And so every single musical, play, everything has these legacy playbills, and it looks like playbills through the decade. So you have one that looks like 70s, which is this one. It's like pink, orange, and yellow. And then you have one that looks super old. Maybe it's more like 30s or 40s. Anyways, it's really cool that they're doing this month. And these are going to be such huge collector's items. And like, beware for the Broadway flea next year. I'm pretty sure they're going to be marking these up like crazy. So I have been grabbing a couple extra whenever I can, not gonna lie, as you guys are too, I'm sure. And anyways, The Outsiders last night, you guys, we were so blessed. So my entire family, my mom, my dad, and my sisters are all here right now, and they all saw The Outsiders. So it was like showing them a piece of my heart, right? And I was so excited, so excited to hear what they thought. And of course, the show ended late last night. So we'll probably kiki and collect our thoughts about that today, because I haven't heard so much, but like everybody loved it, of course. And we were so blessed because we had the entire lead cast in. I'm talking Brody. I'm talking Brent Comer. I'm talking Joshua Boone. I'm talking Jason Schmidt. We had absolutely everybody in the cast. The only people who were like swung in or understudied were people in the ensemble, which like Melody Rose was not on for Bev, so she was missed. But I was like, this I don't think has ever happened in the 10 times I've seen this dang show. I'm pretty sure last night was number 10, like crazy, but like awesome. Anyways, yeah, we were so lucky to get to see all of them together. I was so happy to see Brent Comer because, I mean, love you, Brent. I, for some reason, literally never see you in the show. It is always an understudy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I miss seeing Brent Comer as Daryl, because Daryl's my favorite character. But a very close second for me is Dallas. Like, Dallas Winston smokes Winston's, left his t-shirt at the track. Like, oh my God, Josh Boone's performance, every single time I see it, it absolutely wows me. There's no way you could observe him acting and performing and not just be like stunned. He is such a talent. Same with Brent Comer. Same with all of them. Y'all know. I don't have to tell you. You know, Dallas and Daryl, they're like the best, and I just love their storylines. But I was also really happy because I haven't gotten to see Brody in a while because he was like gone for a month and now he's back. And so I didn't know if he would be in whenever we saw it because they announced last week. They were like, hey, Brody's coming back. And we were like, you never announced that he was gone, but whatever. And anyways, they said like he'll be rejoining the cast sometime this week. So I was really happy. It was Friday at the drive-in that we got to see him. And I just, you guys, like, I'm bad. I believe in understudies and that they hold up Broadway. I do. I say that like kind of like jokingly, but I do believe it. I love them. And so many times you see the understudy and you just love their performance. But this is like becoming a show where I really want to see the OBC. So like last night was just so awesome to get to see everybody in it. And there's a lot of new actors in it. There was one new Soch that I never seen before. And there was one new greaser that I've never seen before. And he was in the Rennie track. And he was excellent. I actually loved him. Like I love Rennie. But didn't Rennie announce that he's going to be out for like a month or something? So the guy they have in his place, very, very good. Very good. Anyways, yes, this is my playbill if you're watching on YouTube. We stage doored. I haven't stage doored this show in like since maybe like the first or second time that I saw it. So it was so fun. And I felt like a grandma at the stage door. I was like, Dan Barry, this is my family. I felt like when my grandma used to bring me to church, she'd be like, this is my granddaughter. Like I was like, I had to come bring my family to come see the show. It was pretty funny. But y'all know I just had to mention The Outsiders and show off my cool legacy playbill that I honestly like love. They did a really good job with this one because it looks like a sunset. The colors are like yellow, pink, and orange, which are the same colors that are at the top. Because I am assuming this is like the 70s design just because the colors and the font and everything. And so I think like I love the shows that put in a lot of effort into their legacy playbill designs. Y'all know some did absolutely the least, i.e. Our Town. I'm sorry. Y'all's playbill, like I saw Our Town this week. Let me preface. I saw Our Town, very exciting, but I got to talk about this playbill for a hot second. If you're listening on anything and not watching, just look it up. It's like the original playbill, like not even the legacy playbills. The design for it is all their headshots. And I'm like, why didn't y'all get everybody in one room to do one marketing photo shoot? I don't understand why they have these silly playbills that are just their headshots. Can someone explain to me? Maybe there's a reason. Maybe this is how they've always done Our Town playbills. But I'm disappointed. And then for their legacy playbills, it's literally just the same exact logo with the different like legacy playbill tops, you know? So it's like totally not exciting at all. And, you know, I liked this show, but I gotta like criticize the marketing for a second. Like it's all on my TikTok nonstop. It's like a clock ticking sound, tick, 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 tick. And then it's like, come see Jim Parsons in Our Town. And then his headshot goes up and like fades in. It looks like it was made on Canva. Like I could have made it in half an hour. And I just don't really understand. They have this insane star-studded cast. Katie Holmes, Zoey Deutch, Jim Parsons. And they didn't do like any marketing promo for it. They didn't apparently do like a marketing shoot. I'm just very confuddled by their marketing in a whole. So hopefully I'm not the only one that feels that way. I feel kind of like mean for saying that to a show that I was invited to go and see. But let's market. Y'all know I'm a marketing girly. That's what I do in my 9 to 5. So I just have to talk about it because it's very odd to me. I'm like, you have this cast. Wouldn't you want to get some cool playbill? And then like these legacy playbills, like I said, they're going to be collector's items. Like nobody's going to care to have this playbill that was like, is the same as all the other playbills, just with a different top. So that's my 2 cents to the marketing department. Like, okay. But aside from that, let's talk about the show itself. So Our Town, I knew very little about it. I knew it's the Great American Play, right? And I knew that it was about a town called Grover's Corners. The cast was amazing. The story had no conflict, which was very odd to me. I kept thinking, okay, now something's going to happen. Okay, I see something developing. There's a story developing. Okay, now's the conflict. And I definitely need to do my research as to like what makes this the Great American Play. It was directed by Kenny Leon. So it had a lot of the cast, or maybe just a couple of the cast from Purlie Victorious, which I saw, you know, relatively recently. And so anyways, I just kind of was expecting it to be something that it wasn't. And I wish I would have done my research ahead of time because I was kind of puzzled watching it. It was one act. It was an hour 45. And there were 3 acts though. Sorry, I guess I said that confusingly. There wasn't any intermission, but there were 3 acts. The first act was a day in the life of their town. Very standard day in the life. The second act was like love and marriage. And then the third act was death. And I'm paraphrasing, of course. And it all comes as like no surprise. It's a very like assumable show. You always know what is going to happen next. And I think maybe that is what sets it apart from other plays, is because it's very unassuming and it's a very natural, normal story of like an American town and an American story. And it does leave you with an impression, and it does leave you with something to take home and like, you know, think about critically, which I love about plays. But it's more so like the moral of the story is like, live your life to the fullest. Like people, the humans on earth, they do not realize how beautiful life is, and they take a lot of it for granted. So it leaves you with a sense of zest for life, I guess you could say. But Jim Parsons was very good, but he played the narrator, and it was just very interesting. Like he would interject mid-scene and be like, okay, that's enough from this family. Let's move on to the next scene. And like the actors would like break character and be like, oh, okay, and walk off stage. So it just like took you out of it, and you were like, wait a second, are they just acting out a story, or are they actually these characters? Because they would break character and walk off stage. And then the costuming was really bizarre. I've got to research it. Like there has to be a reason and a meaning behind all of this, right? So some of the children were in like outfits you would see worn today. They had like Vans on and a cute jersey and very casual. And then the moms were in like old milkmaid dresses. And then the dads were in like suits of today, and Jim Parsons' character was definitely in an outfit of today. So the costuming, and then like Zoey Deutch, she was a child at the beginning, and she was in somewhat of like a period outfit. So the costuming was really all over the place, and I just didn't get it. Like it was really interesting. I'm so glad that I saw it. I'm finally glad that I finally seen Our Town. I feel like everybody like either acts like they know or definitely is aware of what Our Town is, and I just wasn't. It's like ragtime for me. Like I'm just not in the know about it. And so yeah, I'm certainly glad I saw it, and the acting was really, really good, and it was very interesting, a very engaging story. But I just had no idea there was no conflict. Like I was thinking it would be like To Kill a Mockingbird, which is a play that I absolutely loved. And I kind of thought, because, okay, this was a cool element. They had some of the audience on the stage in these church pews, in like 3 rows of church pews to stage left and stage right. And it kind of looked like a court, like where the jurors sit, because it was a pew. And so I was like, okay, so there's going to be a court case, was my assumption. And so I was thinking it was going to be like To Kill a Mockingbird-esque. And I just obviously assumed that there would be some sort of conflict, and there really wasn't. It was a very normal, natural American story, which maybe is why they call it the Great American Play. Anyways, it was very interesting. I'm so glad that I saw it. If you're like a girly like me and you have taste like me, I think everybody would enjoy seeing it. It's definitely not like a bad play. It is not a bad play. It is a great play, but it just was really interesting. And I wish I would have been aware of the fact that there was no conflict beforehand, because I really was hung up on that. Like I just kept like, it's natural. Every story, you know, you have your climax, and this one really didn't have like a climax, a climactic moment. But the cast was huge, and they were really, really good. Anyways, okay, I feel like I'm just repeating myself over and over. So let's move on. That's my show recap for the week. Tonight, oh my God, wait, what time is it? Oh my God. Wait. Okay. I'm pausing the podcast real quick because we have 3 minutes until we can rush Sunset Boulevard. So I need to go tell my sisters and Reed to download the app so that we can get the tickets. So literally like live rushing on the podcast because it's almost 9 a.m. and we got to get our Sunset Boulevard tickets. So I'll see you right after that and I'll let you know if we got the tickets. Peace. Well, you guys, I'm back with bad news. Oh, I'm sad. We didn't get the rush. It's on Today Ticks. We all had our phones out and we hit it right as the countdown ended. And it said all rush seats are being held. So we did not win. Immediately, all rush seats are being held. Right away. That's crazy. Ugh, it sucks. Oh, well. It's a very popular show and we'll see it eventually. But I am sad. Okay, do I have anything else that I wanted to talk to you guys about before getting into Broadway news? Okay, one quick thing. I went to Broadway for Kamala this week. It was amazing. Amazing. And Anne Hathaway performed. She actually sang. And my childhood was literally made whole because she sang the song she sings from Ella Enchanted. Find me somebody to love. And when she started singing that, my jaw was on the floor. I couldn't believe it. But the interesting part I want to talk about is these things are never a coincidence. If Anne Hathaway is taking a stage in the theater district and she's singing a song, this means she's coming to Broadway. Now, I don't want to say it so definitively, but it quite literally does. These things are never a coincidence. I know she has a movie coming out, but it's not a musical, is it? I'm pretty sure I would know if it was. And so I just feel like Anne Hathaway is coming to Broadway and it's only a matter of time. And honestly, with the way things are tracking, I just said it on the podcast, so it'll be announced in 2 days. I'm like, that is the way things are going. So anyways, I just wanted to mention that little tidbit. What could it be? Could she come in? Because I don't think it'll be Devil Wears Prada because I don't think she would do that on Broadway. It would be amazing, though, if she was Miranda in Devil Wears Prada. Like, that would be awesome and genius casting. But I don't think she would do that. I think she's more of an actor and she would want to, like, originate something. But she is a great singer. And that was awesome. Okay, let's get into our Broadway grosses. So this is for the week ending on October 13th. And at the top of the list, who's it gonna be? Boo-doo-doo-doo, why isn't it showing? It's Wicked! Who's surprised? Literally nobody. Lion King is 2. Hamilton is 3. Wait, my jaw's on the floor. Moulin Rouge is 4. Oh my God. And Aaron and JoJo's last week, they did so well. I have chills. And John and Soleil are in Moulin Rouge now. And I'm just so hyped for them. Like, I can't wait to see it with John. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. But that just makes me stunned that Moulin Rouge is number 4. We have not seen them that high, and I don't know how long. The Outsiders was right below them, though, literally neck and neck at 5. MJ the Musical is 6. Hell's Kitchen is 7. So there's like not really bumping down. These ones are all just neck and neck, but Hell's Kitchen is falling just ever so slightly, okay? Aladdin is 7. Sunset Boulevard is 8. I literally can't say it any other way. That's the only way we will refer to Sunset Boulevard from this point on. Okay, and Great Gatsby is 9 and Harry Potter is 10. So this is a very interesting week. Oh, Mary was bumped out. Cabaret is bumped out. So I guess that's why we're seeing The Outsiders move up, because Cabaret's fallen, which is sad, but I still really want to see it. I definitely want to see Cabaret. So we're going to talk about it on the Broadway news, but I literally spoke it into existence. I'm so sad. Suffs is closing. And now that they've announced they're closing, I want to look at the bottom to just prepare ourselves mentally for who might announce they're closing next. So at the bottom, in terms of musicals, we have The Notebook at the very bottom, already is announced. Water for Elephants is already announced closing. Suffs is already announced closing. Once Upon a Mattress is the next, but it's a limited run, so that's fine. And then it's Chicago. Chicago. I don't think I'll ever see Chicago, if I'm being honest with you guys. And then the next one from Chicago is Hadestown, is that low. So Hadestown has been on Broadway for 5 years, right? That's a really long time, and that's an amazing run. They do really good when they have stunt casts, so maybe they could stay on longer if they get a great stunt casting. But it's not great. But they have a good capacity. I don't know. They're stable. Okay? They're grossing like a little bit under $1 million, so they're okay. But I wouldn't be surprised if the conglomerates, if the evil vampire producers wanted to, sorry, that was a Moulin Rouge reference. I don't really think producers are evil vampires. I feel like you can tell I'm recording this so early. We were at Marie's Crisis last night. Guys, it was so fun. I have to tell you about it just real quick. After The Outsiders, we were on that post-show high. We had to go do something fun and let off steam. So we went to Marie's Crisis, which if you don't know, it's like the best Broadway show tune sing-along piano bar in Greenwich. And they played some really amazing songs. They played In the Heights. And it was so funny because it was like me and this one other guy who were rapping the entire thing. And it was the first song, like the, I am Usnavi and you probably never heard my name. Reports of my fame are greatly exaggerated. Anyways, they played that song. That is a long song, like a 7-minute song, I would assume. And I've never realized how long it was until I was singing it at Marie's Crisis. And I was like, I had the heights. I was out of breath. And anyways, it was just so fun. And we were there really, really late into the night. And I feel like you can tell I'm like a little delirious this morning. Anyways, that wrapped up our Broadway grosses. Did I put a pretty bow on it? I think I did. Let's transition into our Broadway news, you guys. The really sad news that Suffs is closing. I'm not happy about this. I really feel like it's way too soon. It feels like Tonys were yesterday whenever they were seeing so much success. And I just cannot believe it's already closing. It really makes me sick. Ugh. I'm sad. Honestly, I am, because it's an all-female cast. And the producers are women, and it's just like a female-forward musical, and we haven't had this much feminism on Broadway ever. And I wish it were more successful. This show is really, really good. The only pinch point for me with this show is the set. I think the set is incredibly lacking, but other than that, the songs are killer. Shayna Taub is literally a genius, and we are so lucky to have her. And I said it last week. I was like, I can't wait to see what she does next. I want her to be with the success of Suffs and be in that role for as long as she can. But also, she feels so similarly to like Lin Manuel Miranda for me, which is like, she can't stop moving. And so I'm sure she's already working on something else. And I need her to. Like, I need her stuff on Broadway. I think she's absolutely incredible. I love her so much. And her and the Suffs girlies performed at the Broadway for Kamala thing, and it made me so emotional. Like, that's how we ended the night. It was like the keep marching. And oh my Lanta, like I was literally so emotional. I was like, we have to keep marching. And that's just what this show was made for. It was made to make you feel motivated and empowered. And this show is so amazing, and I can't stand the fact that it's closing. So it's closing on January 5th. At the time of its closing, it will have played 301 performances. That's a special number. That's the number of performances Water for Elephants will have played when it closed. And I wonder what that special number means. It obviously has to mean something. And the show is going to be going on a national tour. I think it will actually do really well on a national tour. It's going to be setting out in Seattle in September of 2025. So I think it's going to do great on a national tour. I hope it actually goes. And I'm going to truly miss this show. Like, I love this show. I love all of the women who are in this show. I think they're so incredible. I cannot wait to see what Shayna does next. But this is so short-lived, you guys. It truly is. It won Best Book and Best Score. And it totally deserved both of those winnings. And it totally deserves to stay longer. It opened back in April, like literally the week after Outsiders opened. And Outsiders is like no one in sight. It's going to be running for forever. And Outsiders, clearly, like we can finally attest that this last Broadway season, so many shows rushed to Broadway. And now we're seeing like the the downfall of that with Water for Elephants, The Notebook, and Suffs all closing right away. I feel like they all came way too fast and in an oversaturated Broadway landscape, and they shouldn't have all done that. Some of them should have waited. And by some, I definitely mean Water for Elephants. I think that one was the most not ready. I think Suffs was ready. I kind of actually do think that The Notebook was ready too. But now we're just seeing the repercussions of an oversaturated Broadway season. And we were all so overwhelmed by, 14 shows opening in the matter of like 3 weeks. And now we're seeing that it's not sustainable. And luckily, The Outsiders and The Great Gatsby are on top. They're the ones that are doing really well and are going to have some longevity. I think The Outsiders has much more longevity, but I also think Gatsby's doing fantastic. As long as Jeremy Jordan and Eva are in it, I think they'll do really, really well. But yeah, so those ones, they stayed at the top, and the other ones, they sort of fell to the wayside. And that's what happens when you enter a really oversaturated Broadway market. So anyways, it's really interesting to be looking at it from this perspective now after the fact. But I do think that Suffs would have been more successful if they didn't open when they did. Honestly, I really do. I hate that this show is closing. It's such a good show. If you haven't seen it, please see it. It genuinely is one of those musicals that you learn so much. It's Hamilton for women. And I didn't like that people were saying that at the beginning because it feels like it reduces it. And Hamilton also is this amazing feat that nothing can or will ever compare to. But I do think it is like the feminist Hamilton. I do, because it makes you feel a lot of the same feelings that you get when you watch Hamilton. And it's truly incredible. I love Suffs. I really, really do. And some of the music is going to be added to my Broadway playlist, and I'll jam to it for forever to come. But it's just too soon. And I don't have anything else to say about it. I'm just really sad. And I want Shayna to have all of the greatest things in the world. And I can't wait to see what she does next. I wonder what it'll be. I don't think she'll ever get away from these feminine stories. And I mean feminist stories. I think she'll find a new icon to introduce us all to. And I'm excited for that. So I literally love you, Shayna. And I'm really going to miss this story on Broadway. It's such a good story. I'm sad. Okay, anyways, let's move on to something kind of similar to what we were already talking about. Lin Manuel Miranda. He had a very big week. Warriors album is out, you guys. We have been tracking this for months, and it's finally out. I listened to it, maybe the first 5 or so songs this morning. I've got a road trip planned for today. We will be in the car, driving to the apple orchard, and I will be bumping it. And so far, so good. I really like what I hear. It was released on October 18th, and funny story, my family happened to stumble upon the Warriors release party. I kid you not. It was at Time Out Market in Brooklyn, which is just across the water from Manhattan. And they sent me a picture. I was like, y'all are definitely at the release party. Like, that's what y'all are at. And it was while they were setting up, they already had the DJ booth going and everything. And I think they like tried to stake out there as long as they possibly could until somebody came through and they're like, all right, everybody, I gotta go. The party's getting started. Anyways, I saw photos from the night, and sure enough, it looked like an amazing night. And all of this is just feeling so Hamilton. It's feeling so Hamilton. I'm like, we have something amazing here that's going to be huge. The Warriors, if you're new to the pod, we've been tracking this for a while, but let me introduce you to what the Warriors are. It is a gang of women. It's based off of a movie from the 70s, a cult classic movie. And the Warriors are the gang. And for Lin's reimagining of the Warriors, they're an all-female gang, which is just so awesome. You have Jazzy Jones and Philippa Sue from Hamilton, the Schuyler sisters. I wish Renee Lee Goldsberry was in it. I'm surprised that she isn't, but I'm pretty sure she was at the release party. So they all had a little reunion, which was just so sweet. And I love everything Lin Manuel touches. I am a Lin Manuel Miranda apologist till the day I die. And the album's good. The album's really, really good. Oh, but I was telling you all about what it is. So yeah, they're a female gang that are from Coney Island in Brooklyn, and they're framed for murder while they are up in the Bronx. So they have to travel all the way through Manhattan, and that's the story, essentially. It's very iconic. There's a lot of iconic lines like, warriors come out to play. And the way they changed it in the song, it's like, warriors come out to play. Sounds really good. And then there's the can you dig it? That's what this is from. And there, I did hear that song. I can't remember how it went. But as you'll know from Hamilton, Lin takes so much inspiration from music and pop culture and Broadway. And I'm already seeing the lines cross with Broadway. So there's like the roll call song, and it's very Chicago, like Six, Swish, Cicero, you know, it's like that. But with all of the names of the warriors. So I'm excited to continue listening and hear those little Easter eggs, because he's just the most creative genius Broadway's ever had. There, I said it. I love that man. So I'm so excited to listen to the rest of the album. So far, so good. I love the intro song, warriors come out to play. And Busta Rhymes is on it. And it has such a Hamilton feel. It really sounds a lot like the Hamilton mixtape, if I'm being honest with you. But it's fantastic. It's fantastic. I definitely see it transitioning into a musical. It's written like a musical. Like, they have dialogue in the songs. It's totally, like, there's no question. I wasn't sure because Lin releases these concept albums, and I think he sees how it goes and then goes from there. And this is going to have great reception. I already know it. And the fact that there's dialogue in it, I know that he's thinking a musical. He was definitely not trying to allude to that in a lot of the PR coming up to all of this. He was just like, no, me and Issa Davis, we're just releasing a concept album, like, no big, just an album. You guys don't get too excited. But then he cast a ton of Broadway people. It's like, okay, King, it's coming to Broadway for sure. Oh, I'm just really excited. I think it's going to be really dark. I think it's going to be spooky, scary. And I think it's really going to like rattle you. And I'm so excited. And I love that it's all female leads. Eek! It's going to be like the new Suffs. Oh my God, I'm sad. But it's going to be women empowerment to the nth degree. And it's going to be a good show. It's very similar to The Outsiders in some ways with the, rival gangs. It's very similar to West Side Story in some ways too. So it is a story that has been told, but I think this is going to be really different. And of course, with like Lin Manuel's stamp on it, it has that sound. Like, it's very rap forward, even more so than I would say Hamilton was. Like, in Hamilton, we had the 2 cabinet battles, and that's where they really laid it down. But this one, like, I know Broadway actors are going to be able to perform it, but you have like Busta Rhymes on it. Only Busta Rhymes can sing like Busta Rhymes. So it's going to be hard to come to Broadway. Like, people are going to have a hard time hearing and understanding what they're saying because it is so rap forward. But, those things can also be changed. This is a concept album. This is not the original Broadway cast recording yet. So things can change for sure. Eek! It's just so exciting. We have been tracking it for so long. So Warriors, they've come out to play. Yay, yay, yay. Love it. Okay, slay. I'm honestly so excited. Oh, I also did, though, before we move on, want to talk about some of the reception that I saw online. So it's gotten really good reviews. The Guardian gave it a 5-star review. That is awesome. And ABC News, they put out like an entire critical review of the show. And here's what Mark Kennedy had to say, quote, "Some of the 26 tracks are fragments, some hushed, others fully formed, and some hysterical. As with We Got You, a seductive love song delivered by a male gang wearing cardigans, Quiet Girls featuring a fierce porter is a feminist anthem, and A Light or Something is a gorgeous love song for our times. The 3-part finale is a gloriously messy 8-minute ride through a eulogy, a struggle, and then grace." Quote, dang it. That just gave something away. A eulogy. Well, they are framed for murder, so it could always be the person that they murdered that there's the eulogy for. But that makes me feel, obviously a lead has to die. Why, Broadway? Why does a lead always have to die? I'm sorry if I gave that away to you guys, but I guess we could just assume when we're going to see a Broadway show, a lead is going to die. Name a Broadway show where a lead doesn't die. Kimberly, no. Okay, nobody dies. They just talk about death a lot. But Kimberly Akimbo, nobody dies. It's another Broadway show where nobody dies. It's just like the family friendly shows where nobody dies. Like Wicked, nobody dies. Moulin Rouge, somebody dies. Should someone die? Okay, well, yeah. It got really good reviews. It comes as no surprise. You guys got to listen to Warriors and let me know what you think. Literally, please let me know. Okay, moving on to our next piece of news is that Dirty Dancing is coming to Broadway. This is going to be good. Honestly, I'm really excited for this. Dirty Dancing, it's already a dance forward movie. So of course that translates to a stage. Are you kidding? Of course. And it could be somewhat like The Notebook. Like it is a classic love story movie. Is this more of a classic than The Notebook? I don't think so. I think they're kind of on the same level. And so I think it's going to be fantastic. I understand some of my listeners are younger, so you guys might not know what Dirty Dancing is. But basically, to give you an idea, you should definitely watch it. As Patrick Swayze in it. And it's this young girl. She is kind of against her will going to this summer getaway in the Catskills with her parents. And then she meets Patrick Swayze's character, and he's this amazing dance instructor, and he wants her to be his partner for like the summer end fling. And y'all know there's this iconic scene at the end. This could be love because I had the time of my life. And he picks her up, and of course that would be amazing in a theater. They could actually run through the theater because that's how they do it in the movie. They're like dancing down the aisle, and then she runs and jumps, and he picks her up over his head, and it's beautiful. Iconic. Of course, this should be a Broadway musical. I can't believe it wasn't a musical before. This makes so much sense. So here's the facts of the matter. Lionsgate and the Path Entertainment Group, under their live stage arm, Showpath. So I guess these movie producing companies have this other musical production company, which is kind of cool, called Showpath. Okay, slay. And they are developing this movie for Broadway. And it is going to be directed by Lonnie Price, who is actually in the original movie. Now, I don't know much about him. Maybe I should. But also they're going to have the original screenwriter too, which is really interesting. That's what they did for Empire Records. The original screenwriter for the movie then did the musical. And I think that's a great way to do it. I can't imagine why it wouldn't be, because you keep a lot of the original thought behind it and intention. So you should be able to recreate that same magic for a stage that you did for that classic movie. So that's Eleanor Bergstein, who is going to be the screenwriter, I guess the playwright or book writer. Yeah, that's what we call it over here for the musical. Very exciting. And they're calling it Dirty Dancing, the classic story on stage. That's weird to me. It just needs to be Dirty Dancing, the musical. I'm sure they'll change it. Maybe that's just like the developmental title. But they're planning for it to premiere late 2025. So that's really soon. And I'm excited. And now's the fun part where we get to think about who they should cast as Patrick Swayze and Baby. I can't remember that actress's name. Oh my God, don't crucify me. I'm sorry. So who will be an amazing Patrick Swayze? The age range I would say is like 20s to early 30s. It's not going to be your Aaron Tveit or Jeremy Jordan. Like, this guy has to be big. It could be Joshua Henry. I could see that. It has to be somebody who's like, I'm guessing a tenor, right? But Joshua Henry's not a tenor, but that's fine. He would be able to do it. It has to be somebody who's like really buff, which is why I'm kind of like Jeremy Jordan. He's our short king, as we learned in the Dariana interview. And so I don't really see that. Of course, I would like totally die, but I don't see that occurring. And then Aaron Tveit, like, he's done for a while. I guess his partner, I don't think they're married. His partner is very pregnant, and so he's going to become a dad so soon. I'm so happy for him. But he's also like, I don't know, he's not a dancer. Let's say that. Aaron Tveit is not a dancer. He can dance, but it was funny. Whenever I took Reed's family to go and see Moulin Rouge, which is just the best, his sister Britta, shout out, she was like, it's so funny to watch Aaron because you can tell like he's not a dancer, and when he does the movements he's so rigid. And I was like, yeah, he's not a dancer. He can dance, but he's not a dancer. Anyways, who do I think? I think Joshua Henry is a great choice. I don't know, like, I'm thinking of Brent Comer because he just has like the Patrick Swayze build, I feel. But I don't know if he's a dancer. I don't think he's a dancer either. Like, this person has to be a dancer. It has to be a big guy who is a dancer. Who am I forgetting? I feel like I'm forgetting somebody who's huge. Oh, not Casey Cott. Oh, that was so mean. That was so mean. I'm sorry, Casey. Like, he's a big guy. I don't know if he's a dancer, but he fits the bill and he's available. So I could see that. But Mackenzie Kurtz's baby? Forever dream casting Mackenzie Kurtz in everything, because she didn't. She wasn't an elf like we wanted so badly. So maybe Mackenzie Kurtz could be baby. She would actually be perfect. She would be perfect. I can see that. Okay, Mackenzie Kurtz is baby, always. And then Mackenzie Kurtz is baby. Am I right? Oh, Ryan Vasquez. I could see Ryan Vasquez. I don't know if he's like a great dancer. I would assume he is. He's like so freaking talented. He had his pick of the litter this Broadway season. So I could see Ryan Vasquez, and he'll be available to my knowledge. Okay, we did it. Oh my God, I love it when we do it, you guys. I love it when we do it. But that's a very Broadway forward cast. If they want to get somebody big, they could get like a Zac Efron. He's my other. I always fall back on him because I want him to come to Broadway so bad. But I think that they could get a pretty good celebrity for this role too. It's just you cannot fake the dance element. Like, he's the dance instructor. He's teaching her. They have to be a dancer first and foremost, like a Derek Huff level dance. So that's awesome. I love that. Okay, cool, you guys. That is all I have for you this week. A couple other things that happened in Broadway news that we're not really talking about in full story length is that we announced last week Shoshana Bean is leaving Hell's Kitchen. They announced that Jessica Vosk is going to be replacing her as Jersey in Hell's Kitchen, which is just like the most perfect replacement. These two women, they are so amazing in their own right, but they are so similar. Let's be honest, like they were both in Waitress, and that's probably why I'm saying that. But they are two peas in a pod. They're two birds of a feather. I feel like we were like, oh, Shoshana's leaving. That's sad. Hell's Kitchen will never be the same. And then they cast Jessica Vosk, and we're like, oh, it's like she never left. Like they're like twins practically. They're both amazing in their own right. Don't get me wrong, but very, very exciting nonetheless. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of From the Mezzanine. Please make sure to subscribe on YouTube, comment, like, but mainly subscribe. And you guys, I had the sweetest reviews this week. Oh my God, maybe I'll read them off next week, and any new reviews that I get. But they really touched my heart. I hadn't checked my reviews in quite some time. Shocker, I know. And when I got over to the review page, I saw 3 new reviews. I was like, oh my God, you guys, like my heart, I'm overwhelmed. It was so sweet. So thank you guys for leaving reviews. Please continue to do so. I kid you not, when you leave reviews, literally this is how the algorithm works. Person leaves good review. It just pushes the pod out. And you know what happens when the pod is pushed out? More of your favorite Broadway people can come on the podcast because they're like, oh my God, From the Mezzanine, such a good pod, such good reviews. I want to come on there. I want a piece of the pie. So leave me a review wherever you were listening. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. I feel like, where else do people listen to podcasts? I don't know. But yeah, okay. Y'all are the best. You can join the Patreon for $5.99 a month. I'm going to record my Meet Me at the Stage Door right after this, which is the bonus episode that you get every single week. And I will see you guys next Tuesday.